Hi, this is my first video for this month of March, and this is entitled my designer vintage collection of handbags. And I have already sold a lot of my vintage bags. In fact, I just sold my Louis Vuitton Danube Epi leather and my Noe GM. So they're not here in my collection anymore. So whenever I do the video, whatever I have at the moment, that's what I feature. And I would assume that not all my viewers have seen or have even come across my channel before. So I would treat every viewer as a first time viewer. So today is March 14, 2018. And yes, I am here to share with you my collection of vintage designer handbags. So I have different designers from Hermes to Versace to Gucci to Valentino, Ferragamo, Chanel, Fendi, and Bali. Yes, I included one Bali handbag here. Recently, I have sold two or three of my vintage Bali handbags. Okay, so we'll start off with my most of these videos. I mean, most of these handbags have been featured either individually or collectively in my previous, videos. So let's start off with my newest purchase. I bought this last Saturday from this indoor flea market, and this is a vintage patent leather Salvatore Ferragamo. My other three Ferragamos have sold and have been consigned, so they're no longer in my possession. So last Saturday we went there. They only hold, I think, twice a year. Oh, it was an antiques fair that I went to because I think a month ago I went to this same location, but it was a flea market. This time it was an antiques fair. Normally you have to pay to get in. But I think they didn't have as many vendors as they used to, so we went there for free. Okay, so this is a very nice evening bag. It's in patent leather with suede interior lining on the flap and smooth leather on the inside. And I still have the original tags, Salvatore Ferragamo. And yeah, I didn't find a lot of things there. I found some jewelries though, but I only got one handbag. Okay, so one good thing about Ferragamos is that they do last, and the chains are covetable. And the old man who sold me this was telling me that, did you know that most people sell their Ferragamo handbags just for the chain? Sometimes they just remove the chain and then sell it, on its own. I said, well, I wouldn't want to do that because, because this is detachable, because you can just, he told me you can wear this as a clutch, but, I'm not going to wear it as a clutch, of course, because it's patent leather. It's going to slip up, and besides, it's very bulky and boxy. Okay, so this is in excellent condition. This is very tiny though. It's a micro handbag. So I think this is just 6 inches or 5 inches. Okay, and it's absolutely gorgeous inside. There is no, it looks like it has never been worn. And he told me that he got this from an old lady who has a collection of handbags, including Judith Lieber clutches and all that. And yeah, it had a hang tag. This one had a tag. He was selling it for $275. I said, no, I'm not. I can get that for a lot less online. I told him. So We came to an agreement, and he told me, okay, you can have that for because he said $150. I said, no, no, not $150 for this, no way. So I paid $40 for this. But you see the chains. I think these chains are. I'm not sure if they are plated because they are very, 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 very shiny and polished. And yeah, so it's in absolutely gorgeous condition. And this is my Ferragamo handbag. I do regret selling my, I think, was that called a Vara bag, the one with the clasp here, Ferragamo, because, that was one of my classic purses. And it says here Ferragamo on the hardware, and how to authenticate Ferragamo. It should have made in Italy and the serial number there. Okay, now and recently, yeah, I made a video on this a month ago. I also bought this for $50 from the same location, but it was a flea market at that time. I wish they would hold more, more flea markets more often, because we only have it like twice or three times a year for the antiques, and the flea market I think is three times a year also, because it's very convenient. It's only 5 minutes away from us. Okay, so this is a vintage coated canvas Fendi monogram with leather trimmings, and this is becoming my favorite handbag and my go-to or to-go handbag. I would say to go because it's like, okay, let's go. And I just find myself reaching for this all the time because of the ideal size, and yeah, I like it because it may not be very sturdy, but it's very flexible, so you can just, you know, put in anything, and it's absolutely in gorgeous condition. And yeah, this is what I'm using right now. So I still have some things here, and it says here Fendi, made in Italy, and that yeah, to look for an authentic Fendi, the hardware should have Fendi on it. This bag is probably this is pre 1980s, because they didn't have the older bags didn't come with a serial number, but everything is here. You just have to check the stitchings though. Last Saturday, I also saw a canvas Fendi with the same hardware inside, but it was so fake. It had the same hardware, so I didn't know what. Maybe they used up the same hardware. They just probably put it on a fake bag, because the stitchings were really off. It was just so awful, but it had the correct hardware. So maybe that's what they call the Frankenstein, or when they try to rip apart an original bag and then put it on a it's like what they do with the Rolexes and some, yeah. But this one, of course, this is absolutely authentic. Yeah, and I love this. I love this. And this is what I wear all the time when I go to drop off my son to the bus stop. I like it. I like it because I could wear this as crossbody. It's a little bit short, but I'm only 5'1". I'm petite, so I could really wear this crossbody. Okay, now this is my Gucci. Okay, I consigned this to the Real. They refused it, although it's in absolutely gorgeous condition, because they said it's more than 20 years old. And with the Real, they only like current handbags. But I think they do accept vintage Chanel. I'm not so sure about that. It has to be at least 20. I mean it shouldn't be vintage. I mean, I don't know with the other items that they have or the other designers, but they said the reason for them not actually accepting this merchandise was because it's more than 20 years old. So they don't like that. They are more into the chic or hip thing. And I like this. It is so, so unique because of the gunmetal. And you wouldn't think that this is a Gucci. I thought at first it was like, it's a, it could have been a Chanel, but it's not. So this is the early Gucci's with this logo crest shield. It's in gunmetal color, and it says Gucci made in Italy, and that has a serial number. And luckily, when I found this in absolutely, gorgeous condition, because most Gucci's with this lining are already peeling off and really, really pathetic. It's like I like to buy more vintage Gucci's, but all their linings are peeling off and just not right. So no, I'm not gonna buy any of those unless they are really in perfect condition, because I don't have plans of relining it. Okay, so this is a vintage Gucci, which is very, very unique, because who knew that, Gucci actually made, a bag like this that is only exclusive to Chanel and some, copycat designers, right? Okay, now this is my, it could be a wristlet. It could be a wristlet, or it could be, this is actually a very, very big, or it could be a cosmetics case, or this is actually long. It's like 10 inches or 11 inches long. And this is by Pierre Balmain. I've sold many of my quilted Pierre Balmains online. And yeah. And I bought this from this was not actually cheap when I bought this from this Boca, or was it Palm Beach consignment shop. It says Pierre Balmain, Paris, made in USA, and you can just see that it's like Pierre Balmain original design. It has the tag there, and it's like it has never been used. So I'm so lucky when I find vintage bags that are in absolutely gorgeous condition. Okay, so I've been if you have been following my channel, or if you have watched my previous channels before, I have so many vintage handbag videos, because I am so in love with vintage bags. Number one, because they are of exceptional quality. Number two, because maybe I'm getting old, and I'm trying, I'm starting to appreciate, but they're absolutely gorgeous, and the quality, and they have stood the test of time. So unlike the handbags of today, they get scratched up easily, and then they have so many flaws. So this is what I'm talking about. This is another Gucci. It's vintage, which is coated canvas, but with this kind of lining, it's peeling off. So there you go. But it doesn't bother me though. But of course, when you put something in there, it's going to scratch up, or the rubbing. It just. But anyway, I like this because it's so cute. It's so tiny. Although I have not worn it though. It's so tiny, but it would definitely fit in my small water bottle. Okay, so it says Gucci, made in Italy, and it has the serial number there. I bought this from a thrift shop. It was original priced, I think, $75 or $85. I said no way, because it's so tiny, and it's really, really not so good inside. But I think a few months later I went back, it was still there, and it was marked down already. I think I paid 30. Was it 30? Which is okay. All right, so this is the creme de la creme of my handbags. I had a very, very lengthy video on this one, how I came to acquire this vintage Constance ostrich with gold hardware. This is vintage. I think they was probably made 1960s or 1970s, because I don't remember exactly the Constance. If you want, you can scroll down my channel, because I was still very, very educated then, because I did a lot of research on the Constance bags. Okay, so this is in espresso color, and ostrich. Hermes, they don't actually have these available unless you're on their waiting list. So you must be a very special person. But I actually bought this from this consignment shop in Boca. And yeah, the person who sold me this knows that I've been going there for a lot of years. I think 3 or 4 years now, going back there, and been. I have actually spent a lot of my money there, thousands and thousands of dollars. I would say that over the years. And yeah, so she said, okay, I want you to have this because I know that you like vintage bags. So, you know, okay, so there's just to show you, okay. They actually removed the plexiglass over here. I sent it to a leather surgeon. Because the plexiglass here, that's actually the complaint of Hermes Constance owners, because the plexiglass here doesn't have any purpose. It doesn't serve any purpose, and it just gets in the way and always breaks. So Jerry decided to just remove it. So it says there Hermes. He spad this. I just put some soap there, my Omnium Bulgari thing, and this is um the interior of the bag. And yeah, so yeah, it says, I can't see whatever, yeah, but it has here Hermes Paris, made in France. So yeah, so there. And I love this. I actually had to borrow money from my from my sister and my husband to buy this, and it took me a year to pay them off. So there, yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous, but right now it's exhibiting dryness. And dryness, I may have to send it back for, for conditioning or reconditioning, and that's just the back. Okay, now I have one of my favorite leather handbags. Actually, this is, I just love the color. It's very smooth, and the leather, this is a Valentino Garavani. It just goes all right. I'm wearing my Technomarine gold hardware, gold tone watch. I just love it. And I've been wearing it nonstop since I got it last Saturday. And this is a vintage ring by Joe Maz, which is like enamel or something. And that's my Hermes click clack PM size. So even with the 50-pound gain, I gained a lot of weight, and it still fits me. So yeah. All right. So this is a vintage Valentino Garavani, and it's so nice. And says made in Italy, of course. And look at the interior. I'm just so amazed. It's just so gorgeous. And this is like the envelope clutch, and this can actually fit your bottled water. It may be flat, but once you stuff it in, it's just gorgeous. I love that. It's just so classic. Okay, and of course, this is my one of my favorite Bali handbags. This was like a holy grail for me. I've been looking for these things online, and they were just too expensive for me for a vintage bag that is not so, not so well known. But I know this is very well made. And when I went to this Fort Lauderdale consignment shop, I saw it there. It was hanging. I was like, wow. Okay, so it was meant to be found by me. Okay, so look at that. And this is a double flap, so it's in the Chanel style double flap. And I know this video is taking too long, but I have nowhere to go, so I can just talk, right? Or maybe I'm boring you too much. This is absolutely in gorgeous condition. So just says Bali, made in Italy. I like Bali handbags. They're very well made, and I think they're making a comeback right now. With they have nice and nice handbags right now. So it's a Bali. Bali is made in Italy. Okay, but they call it Bali of Switzerland. And of course, the most impressive and my favorite in my collection, I could just wear this any season. I mean, any day. It's not sensitive to the elements, and because of the quality and everything, and the hardware. The This is a Barry Kieselstein cord. I think most of you must be sick of of having to watch this again and again in my videos. So it has 4 feet studs, and I like it because it's very classic, it's very unique, and the leather is just to die for. And but it's very very tricky to close it, because you really really have to sit down and make sure that the holes line up. So you can't just close this while you're walking. So you really have to, you know, take your time. So this is of course made in Italy, and that's the thing. And these are, let me just show you. This is the green dust bag, and I'm supposed to put this. I have 4 of these. It protects these from scratching. So, but I can't be bothered because I always use this. So when it's raining or when I'm not sure what to use, I always use this. And what else? Of course, my Versace Medusa handbag, which is a 1980s handbag. It's very very rare. And for your information, the people are more likely to buy vintage handbags now, especially with all the comeback. With There's a lot of shake up, as they call it, in the marketing industry. I've just been reading this blog online that some LA shops have to be converted into vintage shops, because when you're looking for something unique, then you can just go to a vintage shop. So it's not like mass produced. So if you want to be unique, then you go there. So that's what I like. And it's not because I want to be unique per se, but because of the quality of the handbag. So it took me a long time to get this Medusa handbag. Although it doesn't look like Medusa, it looks like an angel, actually. And this one, the real actually refused to have this, because they said that the stitching here, there's a hole. It's not a hole, there's just a tiny bit of tear. So if I have that, if I have to have it repaired, then I could send it back to them. But no, I like this because it has body straps. But I prefer to use it handheld because it's more classy, more elegant, and I just love it. So it doesn't have any Versace plaque inside like most Versace's do, but the lining, you look at the lining over there, it's all Versace monogrammed. And of course, look at the hardware. Now, of course, my one of my holy grail handbags that I found from the thrift shop. Yeah, this is not thrift shop, from the, the flea market. It's a 1980s quilted bag, lambskin. Look at that. And I like this because this does not scream of Chanel. So I even discriminated this before because it doesn't say any Chanel there. Because apparently the owner had already removed the sticker inside. So, but you can go online and look at some stuff that are being offered. So look at that. The sticker used to be here, but she apparently removed it. She's been using this everywhere all throughout. She actually bought this from she bought this in New York from the store. And yeah, her daughter even told her not to resell it, but she said, why not, it's just lying around. So this bag has seen good old days, better days, beaten up. She said she used this as a beach bag. So it's still standing here, so it's still there. And yeah, of course there's just some scuffings here and there. if it really gets pretty bad, then I could actually ask the leather surgeon, because I asked them, they said it's not too, it's not too big it would be too big of a bother, because it's when it really gets pretty beaten up, then I could send it to them. They already quoted me, I think, 250 to $300 just for them to improve the looks of the edges. So this doesn't have any Chanel at all. And of course, this is a vintage Delvaux that I bought from a West Palm Beach thrift shop. Nobody knew what it was. At first, I didn't even know what it was, but I had to research, and it says it was like, I've never heard of this before, and then I found, oh wow, it's actually a you know but I yanked the zipper, that's why it has a hole here, because I just but I love this bowler type. The bowler type bag is actually it works for me very well, and it says there the Delvaux, and something like that. I asked them to repair the zipper, and they said it was $85 just for the zipper replacement. I was like, what? Okay. But anyway, I could still wear it like that. I'm not bothered. Look at the quality. It's like a pebbled grained leather. And yeah. So there. I'm not gonna spend $85 for that, or maybe I have to look for a cheaper, repair guy. And is that it? I think that's it. What's in here? What's in here? Oh, it's a George Jensen vintage jewelry thing. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. This is pretty long, but anyway, yeah, vintage is the new hip, as they say. And yeah, vintage bags are, they're of course an heirloom, and there's nothing like it. And the quality is there, the history is there. So even if your vintage bags, especially your Louis, if they show, of course they will show some signs of wear, then it's part of uh history. It has been worn, and yeah, I'm also into vintage jewelry. So if you want to check out that channel, I have a massive jewelry collection, and that's going to be my next video. The items that I got from the flea market last Saturday. Okay, so bye.